Hello, welcome to another Learn Scratch tutorial. In this tutorial I'm going to show you how you can make your very own paint style game. So here, let's finish off creating my clouds. Let's add some smaller clouds. Brilliant little game. Nice easy beginner's tutorial if you haven't used Scratch before. And really fun, I find. Okie doke, let's get started. So first thing we need to do is create yourself a new Scratch project. So just click on Scratch, go to Scratch, and click on Create. Once you've created yourself a new project, we're not going to be needing Scratch the Cat today, so we'll just right click on him and we'll delete him. And we'll go here and we'll click on Paint because we're going to create ourselves a new sprite. And actually our costume is just going to remain blank because this first sprite here is going to be the brush. There we go. So the brush is going to be invisible, and you'll see why in a little while. And that's all we need to do for the costume. Just change his name to Brush so that we don't forget who he is. And let's create some code. So all we need to do here is go down to the events, and this one's nice and simple. When we press start, what we're going to do is we're going to move this invisible sprite to wherever the mouse is, and then when we press the button down, our mouse button, it's going to paint a color, and we'll look at how we decide that in a minute. So we go to motion, and we need to go to when start clicked. Oops, let's just leave him there a minute, and we're going to use a forever loop. Now a forever loop, let's just make that a bit bigger, that's better. So a forever loop, anything you put inside of a forever loop, and if you attach it to a when start clicked, as soon as I press start, whatever's in this loop will just keep on happening, keep on getting executed. It's the actual term. There we go. So, and we're going to change it from random position to mouse pointer. So now, in fact, let me show you what actually happens here. Let's just go to my costume. You don't have to do this, but if I just choose that there and click on the dot, you can see my dots there. And now, because I've got this when start click forever go to, if I click start, it follows the mouse pointer around the screen. And that's really good for any viewer games as well. A nice quick way of getting things done. So let's just stop the project. Brilliant. So we go to the mouse pointer and we need to start changing the pen size using the pen function. In order to do this, we're going to need to use an extension down here. Click on the extension, and today's extension is we're going to use pen. There we go. And what that's done now is it's added the pen blocks down here. And we're going to need 4 things here. So we're going to do set color. And we'll just drag the same block over there 1, 2, 3 times there. Because we're going to change the color, we're going to change the saturation, and we're going to change the brightness. There we go. Oh, and we're also going to change the pen size. Now, if I click start here, oh, not change pen size. Well, let's go to set pen size to. There you go. That's better. So now, if I click start here, if I change these bits here, then it will allow us to draw with a pen. So I can't show you that just yet. So what we need to do is you say, okay, we're going to set to these fixed values here, that size, and let's make it a bit bigger. Let's set it to 30. And we're going to say, okay, if my mouse button is pressed down, so if the mouse is pressed down, there we go. If the mouse is down, what we'll do is we'll put the pen down. So we'll go back to pen, pen down. And otherwise, if the mouse is not down, then we'll lift the pen up. If we don't put pen up, what will happen as soon as we go click here, as you can see, I've actually let go of my mouse now. It's just going to keep on. It's just going to keep on drawing even when my mouse isn't down. So let's just stop that. So we put that there. It means it'll only draw when my mouse button is down. There you go. There we go. Just like that. That's okay. Brilliant. Excellent. Good. That's all done that. What I'll do as well now here, because I've coloured in my costume. So what we'll say here is okay. There we go. Let's go to looks, and we'll actually hide this sprite as well. Otherwise, it interferes with the paint program. Let's have a look. That's better. Good. And what I'll do for the moment actually is, let's just grab a erase all. I've just grabbed it into here temporarily, and we'll just double click, and that will hide there. So now you can see we've got a program that we can paint here in the game, and if you change the color to a different color, then there we are, you can see we've got different colors. You can change the brightness and all those other things, but we can't do that in the game. So how are we going to get it so that these colors here, they change when we have our little sliders on the top? Well, that's nice and easy, but in order to do that, we first need to click on variables and delete that the my variable one, and let's create some more variables. First variable is going to be called color. Second variable is saturation. Third variable is the brightness. And the fourth variable is size. There we go. So we've got 4 variables. And the reason we've created these variables here is because now we've got a clever little trick. If we right click on the variable names here up on my screen, we can change it to slider. There you go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we've got, there we go. We've got 4 sliders. So what we can do now is we can program it so that when we change these sliders, it changes these values here. Or so we can, while we're in the game, we can shift the slider and it will change what's there. So that's fine. How do we do that? Well, actually nice and easy. Now we've set up these variables, all we do is we drag these variable values here, which are in the variable section, over to the matching value on the right here. So set pen size to size, saturation to saturation, color to color. And now, whenever we change this variable here, that variable gets changed in that block there, which sets it to the correct saturation. So now, there we go. If I change the size, there we go. Really, really simple. There, and we'll just change the color. You can see that. And if we change the brightness, it should go really bright. And you could do all sorts of colors. So already our game is starting to look quite good. So that's a good start. So what can we do to improve it? Well, first of all, really, we want a little button here down the bottom somewhere where we can clear our screen, which is fine. So in order to do that, we need to create ourselves a new sprite, and we'll click on paint. There we go. And we'll use the circle for this. And if you see here, there's like a little dot, a little there you go, a little target there. That's where we want to keep it. Make sure our circle's over that, because that's where the center of that is. There we go. There's a nice little circle, and put some text, and we'll just put clear. Oops. No point doing the text the same color. There we go. Right, there we go. And we'll type it clear. There we are. You could change your font, you could change the size of the button, all those sorts of things, whatever you want. I'll just keep mine as standard for the moment. There you go, so there's our clear button. And we'll move him down to the bottom right-hand corner there. And he's a little bit big, so we'll click on the select tool. Make sure you grab all of it. We'll make him to about the size we want. That's more like it, isn't it? A little clear button down the bottom there. So there we've got our clear button. Let's change his name to clear. There we go, clear. And there we go, good. So there's a clear button. And we'll go on to our code. And this one's nice and simple. All we do here, events. When this sprite is clicked, erase all. There we go. So now if we click it, brilliant. So we can draw, and then we can click clear, and that will erase everything. Brilliant. So already our game's starting to look, our little paint program's starting to look quite good. However, there's a bit of an issue at the moment in that wherever we draw here, wherever I paint, I have no idea what colour we're supposed to be painting. So that's not really a lot of use. So we really could do with another sprite that shows us what colour is going to be painted on our screen. So let's create ourselves a new sprite, click on paint, and again this one's going to be, well actually it's going to be near enough invisible, but let's just draw a little black circle around it. There we go, that's fine. Change the outline to to black, and change the brightness, the saturation. Oh no, what am I doing? Sorry. Click on this one here, because that means transparent. There you go. So we've got a little transparent circle. Maybe change the thickness there. That will do. Again, just make sure it goes in the center, right on the center. There you go. Around that little arrow. You'll see why in a second. Oops. And what we'll do now is we'll move him up to there in the corner. And inside of that circle, what's going to happen is we're going to get it so that whenever we change these sliders, the colour automatically changes inside of that circle so that we know what colour we're about to paint with. So let's do that. Here we go. Similar sort of code to this one, but slightly easier. Okay, when start clicked, that's okay. Control forever. And this time, where are we at? Go back down to pen. This time we're going to set the pen size to, I think, about 30, 35. We'll find out in a minute. Let's try 35. And we'll put the pen down. And we do colour, brightness, saturation. Oh, I've made a mistake. Just be careful. It's quite an easy mistake to make. Don't choose change pen colour by, because it'll just vary it. So if it's already 10, it will change it by another 10, and it will go to 20. It won't match the fixed values there. That was my mistake. Set colour. Pen. So look, colour, saturation, brightness. And what we do now is we do the same trick as before. Go back to our variables. Set the colour to the colour that's in the variable. Set the saturation to the saturation. Brightness to the brightness. There we go. And now, hopefully, there we go. Now that's the size there is no good. I made that a bit too. I think my circle's a bit big. But let me just show you this here. Now what we do is whenever we change this brightness here, or the colour, or the saturation, it tells us what we're going to draw, what colour we're going to be drawing with, which is really good. Well, painting with. Let's just change our sprite name to colour picker. We'll call it the colour picker. It's not actually true. Colour circle. Colour circle. That's the best name. It's always a good idea to give your sprites a good name that represents what it does. Otherwise, you can forget what it does. There we are. Now what we do is just put that over there. Hey, and that's it. Okay, so just try and get your circle there to match what's in there inside of it. And now that will do. Just pull him back over there. There you go. Brilliant. Good. That's sorted. That's perfect. Good. So now we've got the colour picker, we've got a clear button, and we've got all the main mechanics of the game. The only thing we really need to do now is a couple more things. We want to have an option here so that when we click on a sliders button here, it hides the sliders so we've got the full screen. And that's really nice and easy to do. Let's just let's just move him there a bit. There we are. So what we need to do first of all is create ourselves a new sprite, and we're going to paint him again. And let's call this the hide sliders sprite. There we go. And we'll do another of these little circles, well, sort of circle style shape. There we are, oblong. Oops. There we go. Let's change the fill to like a green. Ah, they are nice green colour. You could choose whatever you want. Change the fill to. There we go. And sliders. There we go. Make that a little bit smaller. Hey, that's about the right sort of size. I'm sure you can mess with yours however you want to mess with them. Get them working perfectly, which is good. I'm going to put them over here, actually, out of the way down the bottom. Brilliant. So there's our sliders button, and the sliders is nice, nice and easy. What we do here is we say, okay, events. We say, okay, when start clicked, what we need to do here is we're going to hide the sliders and we're going to show the sliders. But in order to know whether we're showing or hiding the sliders, we need to keep track of whether they've already shown or whether they're hidden. So the way we do that is we just use a variable. So click on variables, make a variable, and this is called sliders showing. There we are, that's good. And there's our variable, sliders showing. And change that to sliders showing. And we say sliders showing is true. Oops. Oh, yeah, true. There you go. So when we press start, we're going to set this variable sliders showing to true, which is great. And once we've done that, we're going to show all of these variables. Oh, so variables, show variable, show variable, show variable, and you need 4 of those shows. And just change those to the ones: color, brightness, saturation, and size. There we go. So start the game, show all 4 of those. Then what we say is, okay, go to events. When this sprite is click, we're going to find out if that's true. If it's set to true, we're going to change it to false. If it's set to false, we're going to change it to true. So let me just show you what happens there. You need an if else. And the variables, 2 variable sets here. Sliders showing true and false. There we go. So now, if we press start, sliders showing true. And now, oops, oh, I'm missing a bit here, sorry. We need an equals in there, don't we? If there we go. So basically, when we click this sprite, if the slider showing is false, we change it to true. Otherwise, we set it to false. And now, if we run the game, so it's on true. Oops, changed the wrong one. Sliders showing. There we go. Let's try again. So it's set to true, and now every time I click it, it toggles there between true and false. So it's remembering what state it was in, whether it should be hidden or whether it should be showing. So that's the first part of it there, whenever it's clicked. And then all we need to do is we just do another if statement below there, another if else, and we say, okay, duplicate that. Oh, by the way, I just right clicked and duplicate. And what we can say here is we say, okay, if the sliders showing equals true, then we need to show the sliders. So go to variables, and then we can show those 4 sliders. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then if the sliders showing is not true, then we hide those 4 variables. Hide, 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 hide. There we go. Color, brightness, saturation, size, color, brightness, saturation, size. There we go. And now, brilliant. So once you click that button, it just shows and hides all of those sliders. Now we've got that working, we don't need this variable showing either. So we'll just click untick that one, and there we go. They're all sorted. So we can slow the sliders, we can clear the screen, and that's all good. Now there's only one more problem, which is also 2 more problems. If you click on the sliders button here whilst your mouse button is really close to the edge, then you'll notice that it messes up with the paint a little bit here. So it sort of messes up on the paint. Also, if you're colouring around here, there is a bit of a risk that you might end up clicking on the clear button and getting rid of your entire image. So we just need to do a quick bit of code that sorts that out. And we need to go back to our brush here, and we need to change this if mouse down here to a little bit different. We need to add a little bit more. We're going to use some ands here. There we go. And we're going to need an and. There we go. So that goes into there. And what we're going to say now is to say, okay, we're going to do here, we're going to do our colouring in, and we're going to colour, but not here. It's not going to touch it here. So what do we do here? We say, okay, use one of these greater than. And we need a distance. Where's our distance? Distance to... where's that gone? There it is. There we go. Distance to... oh, that's called sliders. I'm just going to rename this sprite, call it sliders button. And then we'll go back to the brush. So what we're going to say here is, okay, so when we're here, if our distance to the sliders button is greater than 30, so if we're over here, then we'll do our painting, and duplicate that, if our distance to the clear button is greater than 30. So what this means now is, okay, normally we'd put the pen down anywhere where we're going, so let's just press start, okay, but here, if we come really close to here, don't put the pen down, so that when we click the, let's just click clear, when we click the slider button here, even if I click towards the end, it doesn't start painting because I'm just clicking the slider button. So there's just one more thing to do, and that's the problem is here, is that if we have a large size pen brush, like a really big one here, whenever we click clear, then if you notice if I click it there, it draws a big circle, which we don't really want right behind it. So what we need to say here is, okay, we're going to clear it, but after we let go of clear, I also want to clear the screen again. So we'll just go to the clear button, and here, when this sprite is clicked, erase all, and we will wait until, where we are, wait until the mouse button isn't pressed down. So there's our mouse down. Wait until the mouse is not pressed down. There we go. Erase all. Wait until the mouse is not pressed down. And then, let's just duplicate because I'm being a bit lazy. Erase all again. So now, if we click clear, once we let go of the mouse, it will then clear again, which gets rid of that glitch. So there you go. There's your game all done. Should be fully working, which is good there. We can draw a lovely little sea just like I did before. Change the brightness up, saturation down, which should give us a nice light sky. And you can have a play. And we can hide, obviously, hide all our bits there as well. And that's it. If you like the tutorial, then please do subscribe to my channel. Any comments, suggestions, etc., just put them in the YouTube comment section. Thank you very much.